Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is our transfer daily on a Saturday. Remember, Saturday, Sunday is always later than the weekdays where it's 7 AM, so it's 11 AM, but it is live with the live comments on the weekend. You're very welcome. Lots to talk about, but I want to talk about the obvious stuff, but I also want to take it away a little bit because I think everyone's getting a bit monotonous. I look around in the press, I look at other channels, no offence to them, but it's all very Morata today, Morata this, Morata that, Morata this, Lindelof, Belotti, and I've been saying it firmly all summer. I don't think it's going to be that predictable. As much as I would like to get 4 out of my 5 predicted signings right, I don't think that will happen. So I've got a couple of names that we're sort of tentatively linked with today that I want to sort of bring into the equation. But yes, we must service some of the more obvious news, as I call it, straight away. So Alvaro Morata to Manchester United. A lot of people are now working on them. Finally, a couple of days after I'd said this, they are now starting to look at when the deal can be done. They've done the couple of days, if it's going to happen today, tomorrow, this, that and the other. It can't happen yesterday, today or tomorrow because he's playing for Spain tomorrow night. So they're now starting to say Monday. Just because he'll play for Spain tomorrow night, is he going to come and sign for United on the Monday? Yes, he can. But I think any day next week is likely. I wouldn't say it's a done deal yet, though. I think it's obviously going to be a deal that United want to do because Mourinho wants him. £64 million. There's talk in Spanish press that it's going up to 80 million now. Look, I like Morata. Mourinho clearly likes him. I'd love to have him at Manchester United, but we don't want to get mugged off by that club. No way in a million years. And he's not worth any more than 60 million, really. If we go to 64, fine. But we shouldn't be going to 70, 80 million. No way. They've hardly played him last season. No way should we go that high. No way, Jose. But also Lindelof, maybe Belotti and Perisic. It's hard to predict who will come first out of those. Oh, pardon. That's what she said. But no, it is hard to say who will sign first because we're in advanced talks with Perisic. Lindelof is apparently a done deal. Not my words this time. I'm just telling you what's being fed to us. And Belotti we are in for as well. I'd imagine Belotti is probably the one I would put to the back burner because I'm not convinced it will happen. But Perisic, Morata, Lindelof, toss a coin. Toss a coin, I said. Toss a coin as to who will come first for that. I suppose the smart money would be Morata, but Perisic has been rumbling for a while. Lindelof meant to be a done deal. But we'll wait and see what happens. And I must just say as well, I know a lot of you have got a lot to say. I'll try and pick up on some of the comments as well. Like Jay Bradford saying, is Morata good? Yes, he is good. But remember tonight, hopefully Drawty's working on it anyway. We want to bring Snapchat into the visuals tonight. So you can follow us on Snapchat, United Stand MUFC. At United Stand MUFC is our Twitter account. I'll be putting up a question around 6 o'clock tonight that you can reply, and that'll go up on screen. And it's live comments as well. So it's not Skype tonight. 8 o'clock on a Saturday night is a big sort of United get through your points. And it'll be on Twitter, Snapchat, and the live comments. Loads of ways to get involved. So keep that back for then as well. Although I will pick up on something now. Let me talk off with a couple of... I like doing this sort of stuff anyway. I like sort of veering off the main path and trying to think outside the box because Mourinho certainly does it, and that's been proved just with Eric Bailly last year, but throughout his whole career. There'll be signings that people just didn't see coming. So I want to start off with Gelson Martins, who plays for Sporting Lisbon. Bit of tentative linking with Manchester United, probably because we want a winger. He's 22 years of age, about 5'5", plays for Sporting Lisbon. It's very, very fast. Very, very skillful. Liverpool were in for him. I don't know whether they still are. Liverpool and transfers, they'll probably end up bringing Steve Guppy out of retirement, knowing them. But if you've ever heard from him, he was an average midfielder for Leicester in the mid-90s. But I think he did get an England cap, but that's Sven for you. I'm veering off. But Manchester United sort of linked to him. If we signed him, I'd be very excited because he's young, quick, skillful. The links to Ronaldo are obvious because he's playing in Portugal, Sporting Lisbon, etc., etc. He's not Ronaldo. Ronaldo at 22 was more or less on his path to world domination anyway. But the thing about Martins, I would say, is that I think a lot of people get drawn into pace and trickery, and it is great. It is really good. But I've seen people who were quite quick and skillful at United before and end up getting thrown out the door. So that's... He's got a 45 million transfer release clause, which is a hell of a lot of money. And the reason I don't think we're in for Martins, and the reason I don't think he'll be coming to Manchester United, is twofold, really. One, he's young. And I think Mourinho, if he brings young players in, they've got to have a certain amount of experience and a certain work rate as part of them. Like, I don't think he would sign Anthony Martial now, which is a shame in some ways, because that's the sort of signing that us as United fans want to see. But I think a couple of years ago when we signed Martial, based on what he'd done at Monaco, I don't think Mourinho would touch him. I really don't. And that's why I don't think he would touch Martins, because as quick as he is, as skillful as he is, and he can play as a right back, although I don't really see that myself. His two big flaws are, one, he's a bit of a head down, not bringing his teammates into play player, and two, he's not that strong, and three, he's all he wants to do is run at people and put crosses into the box, which is great, but his work rate off the ball isn't good either. And straight away, that should be a red flag to anybody who follows United, and especially over the last season under Mourinho. He wants work rate, he wants team ethic, and Martins hasn't got that. He may well have it, but it's not a project that Manchester United really can afford to do next season. And I think Mourinho already has got players like that, like Anthony Martial, Mkhitaryan, that he's working through that process with them. I think that's why we're after Perisic, because he comes with that work rate, that team work ethic. If he brought Martins in, it's another player he's got to teach, and really next season, it's not really a season about moulding players, but buying players to develop players. That's not really what next season's about. He has players within the squad that he's got to mould: Twansibi, Fosu Mensah, Rashford, Martial, and amongst others. But signing somebody of that ilk, it won't be. I can't see that being on Mourinho's transfer list. I think what he's looking for are players that will come in and be like Herrera and Valencia, who've got the work ethic, who've got the team work ethic, who will just come straight into the team and just have to learn the United way, really, but not have to be moulded into Mourinho's type of player. And I think that's when you go through someone like Lindelof. If you watched him last night, or you've seen him a few times this season, he's got a good work ethic. Same with Perisic, same with Fabinho, same with Morata. And I think that is the key, really. That's what Mourinho will be looking for this summer. The next one I want to speak about is Corentin Tollison, who plays for Lyon. A lot of you have been mentioning him. He is a player that I'm aware of, but I sort of tentatively bring him in because he is exactly the sort of player that we really should be looking for. He's 22 years of age. Chelsea were linked to him. Bayern Munich want him. That straight away throws into my mind that Bayern Munich did this last year with Renato Sanchez. He was going to be the next midfielder that everybody wanted and Manchester United wanted. It's not worked as well for Bayern Munich as they wanted it to, and they're now looking at Tollison from Lyon, who is and constantly, if you follow your football, which I know many of you do, is constantly named as a lot of the time he's the number one player, young player to come through and will be great. So if you don't know anything about him, he can play in the defence, but basically he's a centre midfielder of the... I don't like the Kante thing, because actually when you look at stats and you look at performances, Chelsea had one game a week and they did have dips, and United played like 100 games and Herrera was very consistent. So Herrera, Kante, I'd rather have Herrera, and people can say you're an idiot, and that's fine. I'll get called that a lot of times, but I would rather have Herrera. But the Kante sort of midfielder, the breaker up of the play and the feeding the ball to other people, is in fashion at the moment. When you think of people like Wanyama, there are, especially in the Premier League, everybody seems to want that sort of a player. Tollison does have that. He's very good at breaking up the play. He's very tenacious, but he's got more to his game than that. He actually is good on the ball. He's good at moving the ball. He's good at passing the ball. His positional sense is very good. There's a reason that Ancelotti and Bayern Munich want him. There's a reason that Juventus are now sniffing around him. I don't know what the reason is Manchester United aren't looking for him, because he is young, but he is the sort of player that has that work ethic, has that teamwork ethic that would tick a lot of boxes for Mourinho. And the reason I wanted to mention him really is he's starting to break through into the French squad. He's been very good for Lyon for a while now. The big clubs are looking at him. Why would we not be looking at him? Renato Sanchez a year ago, Mourinho wanted, and United stumbled and allowed Bayern Munich to do it. Could we slip in at the last minute and nick Tollison from Lyon, from the noses of Bayern Munich? Or are we going to hang around wanting a reject in Renato Sanchez? For me, I would be going for Tollison, because he is the one who's on the upward curve that everybody wants, and I think he's got the attributes that United need. And also, being young, we don't have to ignore signing the young players. I know we said we won't sign Martins because he's young, but he's got a lot of development in him. I look at Tollison and I think he actually has a lot of the talents that we need, but he is young. and we get a lot more out of that deal. So I'm very excited by that sort of player. I like him a lot, but we're not linked to him. That doesn't mean nothing. That doesn't mean anything, though. That doesn't mean anything. And I think that's the point of the show today, is that I want to sort of try and bring it back away from the obvious signings, because there'll be disappointment in there. And I hope not. I hope we do sign Fabinho, Lindelof, Perisic, Belotti and Morata. It'll make it slightly boring if we do, because that's everyone's thinking at the moment. And that will probably be our summer done. And we'll welcome all those signings because they're all very good and they help our team. But I can't see that. I think there's going to be at least 2 of those will fall away, maybe 3, that they just weren't happening. It's just paper talk. So it's worthwhile looking at other options. And whilst I don't think Martins will happen, and Tollison, we're not even linked to him, but I wish we were. I do wish we were. I think he is exactly what we need in that midfield. And I think alongside somebody like Pogba, Pogba part of the French squad obviously with him, Herrera, Carrick, there's a lot. There is a spot in there for a young lad to come in. And let's not forget, we're on about Fabinho, we're on about Tollison at 22. Fabinho's 22, 23 now. So there's not a lot of difference in age. And you speak to a lot of people and say who's better, Fabinho or Tollison. And a lot of people will say, well, maybe it's Fabinho at the moment, but the growth level, Tollison can be one of the best midfielders in world football in the next couple of years, and consistently. So we're not in for him. Do I expect us to sign him? I don't know, but I'd be very, very happy with it. And I know a lot of you have been saying, can we talk about him for a while? Yeah, it is interesting. Supreme Auto Pretoria North says, Alexis Sanchez, question mark. I don't think so. I don't hear anything that we are pushing for Sanchez, and I do hear things that he's pushing for Man City. Alexis Sanchez may well come to Manchester, but it'll probably be Manchester City, and it'll probably be the same as what happened with Van Persie. Arsenal don't want to sell him to any Premier League club. They'll push him off to, well, they tried to push Van Persie to Juventus, but he was adamant he wanted to come United. They'll try and push Alexis Sanchez to Bayern Munich. It's whether Alexis Sanchez is adamant he wants to play for Pep at City, and then in which case Arsenal may find themselves getting humiliated again. But never say never. I haven't heard anything that he's pushing for a move to United, and he would have to be like Van Persie to make that happen. Michael Nui saying, who will our first signing be? I think that's quite relevant at the moment. My guess would probably be Morata, only because Spain's international is on Sunday, Sweden's international is on Tuesday, so that's a 2-day start. 40 Ops Hallam Live says 500 subscribers to 100,000. It's getting very exciting. If you're a United Stand follower, we share success together. It is a United fan content channel, and we're run by the fans for all you lot. So it's very exciting that we might hit 100,000 collectively. Fantastic. So if you are new to the United Stand, please click the subscribe button and get us there. It could happen. I'm hoping it's going to happen before the Sunday show, because then we can use everything we've got planned for the Sunday show, bring some of the guests back who were part of it early on. Hopefully we've got Mr. Ashford coming on. That'd be great. But one thing I must just say as well is that I do realise is that a lot of people watch YouTube and the United Stand who aren't subscribers. I'm only going to say this once, but if you could just take a couple of minutes to set yourself up a YouTube profile and subscribe to our channel, because you obviously do watch it a lot, you're just not a subscriber. There's 2 great things. 1, we'll get to 100,000 subscribers quite quickly. 2, if you click the bell, you'll get notified every time we go live. And 3, you can leave comments on the live comments and on the videos below. So, take a couple of minutes, and it could get us up there a little bit quicker. But there's another thing I wanted to mention on the show today as well, is that Manchester United under Ed Woodward will surpass £600 million spending. So Woodward was obviously appointed when Sir Alex Ferguson left, and he will pass £600 million of spending this summer. It will happen. He spent about, I wrote it down earlier, I want to get this right. Yeah, I was right. He's spent about 470 million so far up until this point, with very mixed success. I'd say the money he spent, the 80 last summer, what did he spend? 150 of that, good, but 300 million of it, pretty mixed really. Even signings that have worked out quite well, like Mata and Blind and Rojo, they've only worked well more or less under Mourinho, really, haven't they? So we will pass 600 because he's only going to have to spend 130 to go past that. My thoughts on that really are that Manchester United can spend as much as they like. We make a hell of a lot of the money, so it's ridiculous. Right, got a few super chats I need to read out. I don't want to miss those because there was one from last night which Ranuk Dash made, which was, Mark, what do you think about the left-back situation? Bring in a new left-back or just stick with Shaw? I don't rate Darmian at left-back, to be honest. Well, Darmian keeps hinting about going back to Serie A, so that's quite interesting. Luke Shaw I like, but can he stay fit over a season? I think we'll be looking to sign a left-back. I think it's a very good point from Ranuk, and a left-back is not what we're linked to at the moment. And I think Mourinho will want to sign a left-back. So who are we going to sign? And this is what I mean. This is the point of the show today. More than happy to talk about people like Morata and Bellotti, but we've got to also be looking outside the box, which is exciting. There will be signings that aren't being mentioned at the moment, and maybe Mendy at left back, Danny Rose. These are people that are being mentioned. Matty Dale made a contribution. Thanks for that, Matty. DT United, think we should try and get a Cardi. I've spoken to a few people who are like involved in Italian football and know it far better than me in relation to transfers, and I've been told there is zero chance. It's very, very unlikely that we'll get Icardi. So I like him, but there you go. Red Devil 149 says, do you think the Fabinho deal will happen, Mark? And thanks for the contribution, pal. Do I think it will happen? When you actually look at what's out there in relation to Fabinho, it's quite slim. And it's a deal that we could do quite easily because his agent's George Mendes. He's not actually part of the Brazil squad, so it's there to be done. I'd say 50-50 on Fabinho. If we got him or Tollison, I'd be ecstatic. There's not really any others I'm interested in. I quite like Matuidi. I don't want Bakayoko. Kessie's obviously gone. There's a couple of others, but I'd like Fabinho or Tollison, and you've heard that here today. Moses, thanks for the contribution. He says Tollison overall skill are similar to Pogba, yeah, but he's also got that real tenacious work rate to break the ball up and everything. It doesn't, it surprises me that we're not linked to him, to be honest. But there you go. And thanks to Craig McCullough Games HD, he's made a contribution as well. He says Inter Milan want 44 million for Perisic, which brings me. Well, thanks for that, Craig, because it brings me on to something I was going to say here. As a sort of a rough guess as to what we would spend this summer, because I think a lot of people are quite interested in that. So if you said 60 million for Morata, 30 million for Lindelof, that would put us up to 90 million. You've then got Perisic at around 40, so that's 130 million. Plus Bellotti, if we signed him, would take us up to 200 million. And then a midfielder, so Fabinho, 40. So that'd be 240 million to bring in 5 decent players without a left back. So we're either not going to get Bellotti and spend under 200 million, or if we do get Bellotti, we could go up as high as 300 million. Which, to be honest, in relation to the money that Manchester City are throwing around, I know it will be the press will just focus on what United spend, but everyone else will spend good money as well. But the reality is Manchester United have got a lot of money. We are the one club in England, really, that generates our own money and has a lot of money. I've got no problem if we spend it. What I don't want to see is us getting mugged off, really. I don't want to see us getting mugged off by Real Madrid paying 80 million for a player who's probably worth about 50. But, yeah. Okay. And Drawty Devil says we're now less than 500 subscribers from 100,000. I'm getting very excited, and you lot should get very excited as well. I don't want to veer off too much from the football and the transfer talk if and when we get there, but we will be talking a little bit about the journey, a little bit of retro stuff for you, and a big celebration that every one of you should be part of and feel very proud of. But more of that if and when we hit it. Back tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm looking forward to tonight. We'll have the Snapchat. United Stand MUFC, we are on there. Follow us on there. We'll have a tweet going up at about 6 o'clock that you can all reply to, or basically anything you want to talk about, and we'll have that up on screen as well. And we'll have the live comments. And basically, for an hour at 8 o'clock tonight, it's just blast off whatever you're asking, whatever you want to talk about. So looking forward to that. That's what we do on a Saturday night. Don't like to call it a Q&A because it's not real. It's just what you want to talk about, and we'll bring that out. We'll whiz through lots and lots of stuff. So thanks for watching. Back tonight at 8 o'clock, unless something breaks. I don't think anything will. There's an international weekend, and unless it's a Fabinho unless it's somebody who's not part of an international squad, I don't think United will announce anybody this weekend. But there is one player who isn't, and that's Fabinho. So, but all I would say is, it's this, and this is exciting as well. Think outside the box a little bit. I don't think we're going to sign Martins, and I'd be surprised if we signed Tollison as much as I like him. But a left back was a very good point from Ranuk. We probably do need a left back. And we probably will sign players that aren't on that 5 that everyone thinks we are. So that's exciting for me. Looking forward to it. Remember to drop a like on the video, support the channel, tell your friends. Let's get up there to 100,000. I want to be live when we do it as well, so it better not happen overnight. But yeah, can't do it without you. Fantastic. And if you don't know the story, it'll be a very good story just to listen to for a couple of minutes if and when we get there. But we don't want to dwell on it for too long. We want to keep going. It's all about United. It's all about fan opinion. That's what it is. And never fail to be amazed by it. Mark, I've just been asked to check something. So if you're hanging around for a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of an exclusive here. So let's just check what this is. Here he is. Okay. It's former Sky Sports presenter. Look, Richard Keys is about as in the know as the Sun. He basically skims a lot of what's going on in the press, and then when it's pretty much certain, he'll put tweets out. He did it about Griezmann and he was wrong, and he's basically tweeted out that Morata's deal is done, the fee is 70 million, and he'll sign a 4-year deal at Old Trafford. Well, everybody pretty much just knows that, so there's nothing revolutionary about that. Yeah, Matthew has sent me that as well. A few people have sent me that. No, there's nothing in that. Don't think Richard Keys isn't in the know. He's not at all. He's just basically predicting what is being said. But even Drawty's saying it. Morata deal done. Well, we reported this yesterday afternoon. There's nothing developing further than that. I think it more or less is a done deal. It's just about how much we pay. That's the interesting thing about Morata. It's how much we pay. Because if Real Madrid want us to pay too much, I think we'll walk away. But I don't think anyone else is going to pay what we will pay for Morata. So £60 million, around that is very fair. €70 million, I'd be more than happy with that. But exciting times. Back tonight at 8 o'clock. Speak to you all very soon. And Ethan Stevenson wants me to adopt him. I adopt you all under the United Stand Army, and you more than ever adopt me, because I don't think anyone else will put up with it. And Diego says he's been here since 47,000. I've been here since 1 subscriber. No, well, I have actually, but thanks everyone for watching. Stay online for 100,000, pal. We won't hit 100,000 today on this stream. Maybe tonight at 8 o'clock. It could happen. So see you all at 8. Thanks for watching. Exciting times for United though. That's the best thing. I think we are coming back from that Griezmann letdown, and hopefully this summer will start to kick off a little bit now.